and I'ma do it again. Watch me win, then watch me do it again. Tell 'em I can't take no loss. My team hold no L's, no. Aiming for the top, can't make it by myself. I ain't taking no loss. I ain't taking no loss. Look, I'm a
Peace and welcome to another episode of Elevate the Mic, and I'm your host, Max Mupese. Today, I'm joined by a guest who has a lot of years of experience working behind the scenes, who gets a lot of respect among his peers, and who has a lot of wisdom to share with you guys. Let us all welcome Olivier Brault. How you feeling, man?
I'm Gucci. What about you?
All is well, man. Feeling wealthy. So, man, you look good, man. Looks like you're taking care of yourself.
Man. It's a never-ending project. Myself, my being. I've been on the grind for a good 15, almost 20 years of constantly working. Whether it's 9 to 5, whether it's personal projects, entrepreneurship. So I just took a couple months now to just refocus, recalibrate myself, focus on the main thing, which is myself, my happiness, my well-being, and yeah, so here I am.
I could agree with that, and I could understand where you're coming from, because last time we spoke, if I'm not mistaken, you mentioned how you were focusing on existing and not living. So what would you say has changed since last time you told me that, and basically today?
I'm learning to live again. Like, the reason why I'm saying there's a huge difference between existing and living is because when you exist, you're just there. It doesn't mean that you accomplish anything. You're just there. When you live, there's intentionality in it. There's you want to accomplish things, and now that portion of living for me was all about getting back on track. I mean, when you work constantly for almost 20 years, at some point, and I mean, I started 4 businesses. I had a lot of personal issues, family related too. So, I mean, all of that, at some point, I just had to take a moment for myself, which is what I've been doing for the last couple of months.
Dope.
Don't count me out of hip hop yet, but I mean, I'm still there, but I'm focusing on me.
Just focusing on you.
Yes.
Yeah, pouring into yourself. You don't want to pour out of an empty cup, like they usually say. Amazing.
True, and also, if you don't take care of yourself, you're not gonna accomplish anything.
Facts.
Your body is your temple. Your mind is also part of that temple. So you need to make sure that they both work in accordance, so that you can see forward and walk towards your next objective and accomplish things.
Yeah, I like when you mentioned working together, because a lot of times we ask ourselves, is the mind more important than the heart, or is the heart more important than the mind, or even the body? As long as they work and they coexist and they work together, then yeah, it makes the job a lot easier. I would agree, 100%.
I mean, the connection has to be there. If you can have the greatest mind ever, but if your body is weak and your body doesn't allow your mind to shine at its brightest, and vice versa, you can have the strongest body possible, but if your mind is not there, then there's something lacking. So
100%. Now, I want to start out with I want to go back in time. You grew up in West Island, if I'm not mistaken, right?
yes.
The west side of Montreal. Could you tell us some of the bittersweet moments or bittersweet thoughts you would have of growing up in West Island, or how did it turn out afterwards?
Bittersweet? I don't really have a bittersweet memory. Like, I had a great childhood. Went from I was born on the West Island, but then I moved to RDP.
Okay.
So I lived on both sides, and then I moved to the South Shore, to Brault, where I spent most of my life as a kid. Single child, no father, only a mother. So, I mean, she gave me a great education. She made me try a lot of things. She made me travel. She made me play hockey. She made me understand a lot about life. She's also my first role model when it comes to entrepreneur, because she used to work at Bombardier, and then she left literally to start a business. Okay. Just like I did. Jeez. So that's a portion of where I get my grind from, is from her.
And you met your father, or like it was just, you ever got a chance to meet your father?
Damn, the last time I saw him, I'm 39, I was 3.
Oh wow, dude. Jeez.
So you see, in French, I don't know what the word in English is, but in French we say un père et un géniteur. That's two different things.
Right, yeah.
So that's what it is. So I don't
Got
have a père, I have a géniteur. who
Got it.
Made sure
We
I got
brought-
there.
yeah.
But after that, gone.
Life, you brought life, and then I get what you mean,
Hmm.
100%. Now, speaking of which, you said your mother was a entrepreneur.
Yeah.
She basically took a leap of faith and left a stable job. How did you, looking back at that situation, or even how she managed to do, how she managed to do that? What was your thought? Like, what was coming through your mind when you saw that? Okay, my mom could actually do this, and I'm witnessing happening in front of me right now.
It was exciting, I'll be honest with you. Like, and also the thing is that she did that not when I was a small kid. She did
Okay.
that when I was in CJIP. So
Jeez.
I was able to take care of myself at that point. So I think that for her, she was like, okay, well, that's about time that I take that leap of faith. Because I mean, my mom was a directrice des ventes in a big insurance company when she was like 27 years old.
Damn.
So she was always on the grind, and then that's the culmination of all their years in that grind. Didn't exactly work out, but what happened with her situation made me a better man because of all the things that we went through. So
Got it. Could you elaborate on that specifically? Like, what
damn,
was-
definitely. Long story short, she tried to relocate her business. She had an interior decoration store, and she had a partnership with Benjamin Moore, and then which is a painting company.
Yeah, Benjamin Moore. I see that everywhere, man. Listen, the marketing is impeccable. Shout outs to them.
And then she decided to relocate in a smaller place, and she got a bit crossed over, I'm gonna say like that.
Yeah.
So she got stuck in a situation where she had to pay for 2 places, and then she went completely bankrupt. Also wanted to, she called me at some point. I think I never said that. She called me at some point to prepare myself for a suicide, basically. So all of that, being kicked out of, we got kicked out of her condo also because she wasn't able to pay rent anymore. So that's an MBA right there.
Yeah.
That's a lot of learning
Yeah.
experience. So that's when I think about that situation. Of course, I don't want anybody to go through this type of situation because I mean it's hard. But at the same time, if I didn't go through that, I would not be who I am today, and I would not be able to face all these obstacles.
Resiliency.
So
Shit.
that's roughly what happened.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, I mean, outside looking in, you get to tell yourself there's gratitude, there's things that could have happened that didn't happen and all of that. However, just the lessons and the testimonials of what you get to tell people afterwards, or even you look back at how you handled it, and I'm pretty sure you're a lot more impressed than you could imagine. Like, you know.
Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely.
Now, when did you realize that, okay, you know what, I love this hip hop thing. I want to dive a little bit deep into it. The reason why I want to ask you this question, I like to ask people this question because sometimes I could listen to a specific song or specific, I could think of a specific memory, then it brings back that moment that I'm like, okay, I could still understand why I love this culture. Or I love this this genre.
I was a fan of that specific music ever since I was, I think, in grade 4, grade 5th. First albums were No Way Out, and then I Am, L'École du Micro d'Argent, which is a classic French rap album. And that's when I started to realize that I had love for that music. But the moment then that really I realized that I wanted to be involved in that culture was again in CJIP. I still do buy a lot of CDs. I really am a geek when it
Okay.
comes to rap music. And I was fed up of
Turntables as well, or only
no
CDs?
CDs. At that time
just only-
CDs, yeah,
okay,
just
got it.
CDs. And I was fed up of going to, let's say, a HMB or Archambault, and then a certain record was too underground for it to be sold there, and then going to an underground spot, but then something was too mainstream to be sold there. So initially, the Hip Hop Cafe was a thought of me just bringing everything all together and having one place. There was no restaurant portion. There was no coffee. It was just like a place to mix everything. And I decided to, just like when you start a business, do a business plan, market analysis, So my market analysis was to meet with about 30 people, such as Monkey, such as Filigan from the Word of Battle, such as a lot of people in the scene. And this is when, like, slowly but surely I realized, you know what? There's a need for a hub, a place where we can all invite everybody and everybody can have that little part of hip hop that they appreciate. And that took me about 10 years to realize. And then at 10 years after, the Hip Hop Cafe was born.
It's brilliant, very brilliant. And I'm glad that you mentioned hub, because I had a conversation earlier with DJ Chops Wonder. Shout out to him. We were talking about how DJs and artists would, specifically in Montreal, it would be a lot better if there were genuine relationships, if there were genuine connections, and we may miss a hub, or we may not have a hub that could, cultivate that. So you thinking about that just organically brings that about, and then people could say, okay, you know what, let's meet each other this Friday at this spot, cafe, and then we could chop it up about certain things that are important for us. And that brings more of like the genuineness, the genuine energy into the professional world afterwards. Like, okay, I met you there, let's keep that energy. So I like that you're thinking about that and you thought about that. Would you say that there was a moment that you told yourself, I want to bring it back in a different way?
I did. I was about to when COVID hit. I reworked on the business plan, included all the rules for health, like the mask and whatnot, and the amount of people you can have inside the building. Everything was there. And then COVID hit, but it hit hard. Like, we had like a curfew, remember the curfew and all of that. And I had a potential investor. She's a Montreal woman who now resides in New York. And they didn't have a curfew at 8 p.m. And I was about to have a liquor license, have a more complete menu as far as restaurants is concerned, and then have a different place to put all the events going on, so I can still have people buying records while an event was going on at the same time, and one is not disrupting the other. Okay. But when COVID hit, and then she saw that we had curfew, she pulled off. She decided to, because it was too risky for her as an investment, because really the liquor license was on a financial aspect, the portion where the money was really coming in. So by having a curfew, I'm cutting off all the hours where people are consuming more of that product. So that and other elements made her switch. And this is how I decided to create Pushing Culture instead. Because I was like, I have to create and do something. So I was all about I was always about pushing a culture all the time, and from my very beginning. So it was just a matter of, it was evident for me that Pushing Culture name and brand should be something to focus on.
Speaking of pushing culture, tell us a little bit more about it. How did the idea come about exactly, and when did you tell yourself, okay, you know what, I think the city needs it, but in a different way?
Pretty much when that situation with the Hip Hop Cafe happened, and then I needed to refocus my entrepreneur spirit towards something else. And one thing about me is that I always thought that I had to combine my passion, so hip hop and entrepreneurship. There's some people that start businesses in random field just because they like the business aspect of it. Me, I needed to be passionate about the field where I was. So Pushing Culture just came through a conversation with my man Carlos, and I was like, Pushing Culture, this is exactly what I want to do. And the name of the brand resonates, and it's the same as Hip Hop Cafe. Hip Hop Cafe, it's been, I want to say 11 years, people still talk to me about it. The branding is still relevant. So I thought about Pushing Culture as being continuity of that. And through also, the thing is that I've seen so many events, whether it's rap shows and concerts or any other type of event, and I felt like there was something missing. This is why I created events like the Act Like You Low or the Beats, Rams, and Peakleys. That was an event pushing Black excellence through music, art, culture, food. Act Like You Low is me and my people from the Montreal Lowlifes. We did an exhibit where we were showcasing classic polo pieces because I'm always got the low on, and I'm a fan of that. This is so associated to hip hop, like it's crazy.
Damn.
So for me, it was all a connection.
Got it. To bring in all of those worlds together, and then
Yeah.
it speaks to what you actually love.
Mm-hmm.
It's important. Now, how did you become the project manager of End of the Week, and which is pretty much an MC challenge, if I'm not mistaken, MC challenge community? Okay.
It's funny because that word, project manager, it's kind of like a title that I gave myself because I do different, like, there's no official title,
Okay.
but I've been with the family for like, I want to say 12 years now. And yes, End of the Week is an MC challenge. So it started in New York, I think in 2000, if I'm not mistaken. And then they created different chapter around the world. So once a year, each of these countries have an MC challenge, and it's not a battle, for the record. It's literally
Like
an
just
MC competition. So
Okay.
you have 5 different steps, and then each step, one is the MC versus DJ, one is the acapella, one is the
wow.
written, so you perform a track on beat. One is the MC versus DJ, so the DJ puts music on, and then the MC needs to rap or improvise, and then every time the DJ switch the tempo, the MC needs to follow the tempo.
Oh wow.
So for me, this is the epitome of what a good MC needs to be. So I started with them. I started to be judge in most of the events that we had. I also judged the world final that we had in Montreal in 2015 and one in New York. And after that, we had that project with La Fin des Faibles. So we brought the MC Challenge on television,
Dope, man.
and which was on Télé-Québec. So I selected all the beat makers for the second season. So all the beats that you hear, I selected them, and it's all beat makers from here, from Montreal and around. And also there's the End of the Week has a partnership with La Ville de Montréal.
Yes.
So they offer they brought the MC Challenge to different high schools. And then we kind of do the same thing. So there's a challenge. So each kid represents, let's say, a borough. And, well, not a borough, but let's say one is from DG, one is from LaSalle, one is from RDP. And then the champion wins. So we offer a team an experience of a lifetime, because we offer studio time, we offer stuff to create a video, and then afterwards we make them perform on a big stage. And so all of that, it keeps on pushing my mission as somebody who enjoys and appreciates hip hop, to push the culture forward.
Amazing, man. And if I'm not mistaken, you mentioned how you organically met the founder of that MC challenge.
Yep.
It was well, that happens summertime, right? Specifically during the summertime, or it depends on.
It depends.
Okay, got it.
I mean, there's Uganda, there's France,
True.
so depending on the country also.
The
it may
weather
vary.
and all. Okay, and how did you meet the founders specifically? How did that come about? Was it organic relationship? Or?
It was. There's 3 founders. So Prolific one, Big Zoo, and then vice versa. Rest in peace. One of them passed away.
Okay.
And Prolific one came to Montreal. I think it was during the Mural Fest, because he's really big on street art, and he's pushing a lot the scene over there. And then he knew Monkey, because Monkey has already been through End of the Week. I think it was in 2015 or 2014. Something like that. In New York, there was a final there. So they all met. So once I met Prolific One, we're really alike on a lot of things, on elements, specifically on entrepreneurship and our view on businesses. So we connected this way, and then we always thought that we were going to somehow work together. That never happened, but our relationship grew bigger. So we became friends, literally. So whenever I go to New York, I pass by Jersey because I have to go see them. That's also another thing about End of the Week, is that it creates a family. Definitely. I can go to Uganda, I can go to France, I can go to Switzerland, I can go to all these different countries, and then we have people over there that we can connect with, communicate and exchange. This is wealth right there.
Seriously, man. Relationships is the name of the game, for real. And especially when they're nurtured well, they're they're authentic and organic, then yes, it goes a long way. Well, when it comes down to transferable skills, because every experience helps us get skills that we could transfer onto another experience. What would you say are some of the transferable skills you got from being part of the hip hop culture into the corporate world?
That's a great question.
Yeah. Thank you.
The funny thing about that question is that right now, my position that I'm at, where I work,
Yeah.
I'm great because of those 20 years that I spent. Because I did a lot of things. I started businesses, but I also did journalism. I managed people. I took care of sponsorship for events. I did radio. I did a lot of things. So all of that. And also, I'm somebody who, a lot of people, they let 9 to 5 define their life. I don't. So wherever I worked at, whether it's a Pharmaprix or whether it's at Desjardins, or whether it's by owning car washes or by owning the cafe, is all right now inside of me, and it makes me a better professional. So resilience is definitely one of them.
Yeah.
But also to understand, when you ask somebody, who are you? A lot of people say, I'm a lawyer, I'm a
Yeah.
teacher,
Job title, yeah.
the job title automatically comes in as their answer. And for me, I was always allergic to that, like, because, and the reason why I say that is because right now, I'm in a position where last year I got took from one place, put on another one, had no training whatsoever at all. And then a year later, I won Rookie of the Year in front of like 500 people. I got raises, I got bonuses, I got a situation where they want to create a new opportunity for me. And keep in mind, like Desjardins is like 55,000 people. They don't
Yeah.
create jobs like that for nothing. Their structure is built. But for me, I'm a different
Yeah.
I'm a different element. So they
Exceptional,
create stuff for me. So this is something that I would have never been able to get if I didn't go through 20 years of hardship.
That's different, man. Listen, those moments, those dark times, those dark moments, they shape us, really. They give us the best. They give us the best way to deal with trauma or deal with situations that actually help us overcome. So yeah, you got to thank those days, man. Seriously.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Attitude. You need that. The attitude is one of the fundamental element, I think, in succeeding, because me and you can go through the same thing, but we're not going to react to it the same way.
Yeah.
And what makes that happen? Why? That's because of attitude. We don't see things the same. But
True.
whenever something happens, instead of just automatically feeding yourself with all the negative thoughts and negative energy, then you can ask yourself, what's the reason for that? What's the purpose? Do I gain? Do I learn something out of it? It's never sometimes you win and sometimes you lose. It's sometimes you win and sometimes you learn, but you never lose.
That's it, man.
So
It happens for you instead of to you. That's good, man. Now, you've also let me quote something you've said. You said it's hard for us in Quebec to get real producers and A&Rs. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
I think that people don't know what it is. I think it's a lack of I want to say education about the different roles that you can have inside of that hip hop thing. Because I mean, everybody wants to be a rapper or everybody wants to make beats. But it's like there's so many other elements where you could actually get yourself involved and showcase your potential and your skills. I mean, so people don't know what A&R is. They don't know what's the purpose of it. They think that a producer is only somebody who makes beats. They don't understand that if you orchestrate something behind, you are a producer.
True.
So I think that a lack of education is something that has stopped us to progress. So I think that this is one of the reasons why people don't even know what that is.
Right.
So they can't want something they don't know about.
Listen, that lack of education, true, makes you confused about your title, confused about what you're actually producing as an artist or as a creative in the industry. Yeah. Now, tell me what brings you more well-being when you think of, going through your corporate days and both living an entrepreneur, hustling, bustling life, having a stable job while pursuing your business projects at the same time specifically, or throwing yourself like fully into entrepreneurship
You see, that's one of the
or your
reasons
passions?
why I think that I reached a point where I was unhappy. It's because so you got half of your day that you spend on something that you don't see yourself doing for a long time, and then you spend the other half of your day working on something that you wish would be the only thing that you work on.
Listen.
So at some point, if you don't jump, but I mean, yeah, it's a risk, but it's a calculated risk. You need to make sure that you put all the
Eggs.
advantages, your eggs in the same basket, so that you can not eggs in the same basket, but that you put when you put your foot forward, that you
okay.
go all in. Me, I was not in a situation where, I mean, it's not like I was a consultant. I wanted to have a business, a location. That's a 3 to 5 or 10-year contract that you need to sign with the landlord, usually on a commercial deal. So it's not something that I can just like jump right
Just
in.
throw, yeah.
So,
It's different. Yeah.
but at the same time, me not 100% strictly only working on my projects, I think at some point is one of the reasons why that I just broke. At some point, I just like
Shit.
I was not in a great shape. I was not in a great state of mind because it's like, okay, I'm here. I'm doing a 9 to 5 that I don't like, which is, I think, one of the biggest problems that we have as a society is that we
Yeah.
select 9 to 5s that we don't relate to, that we don't appreciate. Because you see, we were talking about that last time, eh? Fucking 9 to 5. This is really a hip hop thing, but at the end of the day, it's not fucking 9 to 5. It's select a 9 to 5 that fits you. But it's just that we're so like stressed and pushed to find a job and to get the money ASAP
Yeah.
that we don't really take the time to focus on what kind of job you would like to do. There's a million kind of jobs.
True.
You can't only have entrepreneurs.
That's
I
a
mean-
fact. No, it's real. Anybody tells himself, man, I don't see myself working for people. Like, that's the worst thing you could tell yourself. I don't see myself working for anybody. We always work for people, you know.
At some
It's
point,
like we're
at some
always
point.
gonna work.
If
for
you have
people.
kids, you're gonna work for your kids.
You know. So yeah, I agree with that point, that state of mind, because we got to be realistic, even if we tell ourselves we're better off a certain way, but there's always something that's gonna speak to us a lot better than what we think we should do. You know what I mean?
Yep, absolutely.
Hey, so what comes to mind when you look at today's hip hop, specifically the hip hop that you see in Montreal, and how a lot of artists are able to go to different, they're able to sell out different arenas, venues, and whatnot. So what actually comes to mind specifically when you see that?
I'm proud to see a lot of where hip hop is going. I'm proud to see like how eclectic our scene is.
Yeah.
Like whether it's because of the language or whether it's because of the genre of hip hop. Because I mean, there's a million genres of hip hop.
Yeah.
Also, because you were talking about hub earlier, I think internet became the hub now for all these people, which is there's a portion of it that is sad because you miss that genuine contact and then the connection with your peers or your crowd.
Yeah.
But also it gave much more opportunities for people who otherwise wouldn't
Outside of
have
the
all
country,
this.
or-
There you go.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
mean, I can't be 100% mad at that, but I'm happy. I'm happy also because there's a lot more promoters, people who push the hip hop scene, people who organize different kind of leagues of events, whether it's the battle scene, whether it's different genre of events, which is more music related than the battle. I mean, there's a lot of good things, but you are correct though. There's always a hub missing, and that's always going to be necessary.
True. As a former artist manager, what's the best advice you would give an aspiring manager or an emerging artist today?
I wouldn't give the same advice to both. Aspiring
Completely
artists,
not, huh?
aspiring artists, I would say, be authentic. Authenticity is so important. Like if you start reading a bit about emotional intelligence and understand a bit about how it can benefit you, you'll understand that authenticity is one of the biggest quality you can have. So I think that that would be my recommendation. Be authentic. Don't be afraid. Look at Monkey, for example. Look at the way he dresses. Look at the way he lives. He hasn't spent a whole winter in Quebec for 25 years because he's always touring. He's going to Mexico, he's going to Africa, he's going all over the place. He stays true to himself, whether you like him or not. And
unapologetically.
that suits him. There you go. So
it.
I think this is a great example on how you should be authentic. Now, an aspiring manager, I would say you gotta hustle. You gotta be on your P's and Q's. You gotta be sharp. You gotta think about every single details. Your artist also needs to be your biggest priority. Like, it shouldn't be you getting rewards. It should be him. It should be or her, the person that you're representing. And
you almost have to be like a father figure or a parent.
it is. I mean, a serious manager and who somebody who wants to actually live off of that, he's always working on the artist. Like, you can't have any other things as far as work related.
Right.
You have to focus on it. But that is if your goal is to achieve success. If you only want to be a manager just because you want to help and then
Get a quick dollar or
quick
something.
dollars, and then because you also don't forget that you're selling also your artist is your product, so you need to be able to sell your product.
Yeah,
So
that's a fact. Yeah.
if you don't believe in it, if you don't put yourself 1,000% on it, you're not gonna sell anything.
Jeez. Hey, I hope you guys are taking notes. I told you he was gonna drop some gems. Now, can you give us an example of how networking has changed your life?
Wow. I think the biggest currency is respect. And if it wasn't for these networking events, I would be very poor in that category.
Damn.
I would be very poor. Like, all these different, and also I'm coming from like, my background as a kid was not hip hop related, and my friends were not hip hop related too. So I had to get out of my comfort zone in order for me to meet people. In order, I started the Hip Hop Cafe, the business plan for it 10 years before I actually opened it.
Yeah, you told me about that.
So it's like, I never stopped having the vision, but I never stopped meeting people either. And this is why today, whenever I organize something or whenever I go somewhere, I get the respect. I earned it because I paid my dues. I put in the work. And this is also something a lot of people like don't walk the talk. So it's like they say a lot of things, but there's never anything done afterwards. So I was never a fan of this. So whenever I lost money, I lost situations, I gained, but I gained so much more than what I lost. So networking is life.
That's it, man. The intangibles, like what you hold on to, what you carry on for the rest of your life, for your legacy. That's powerful. Queen's Creation.
Yes.
Tell us about that project.
That's a great project. Shout out to Melissa, who's running this. So basically, Melissa is, she used to be the wife of Sterling Downey, the founder of Under Pressure.
Yes.
So she really is the backbone of Under Pressure. She's the one who's been running that festival for a long time. And then she wanted to create something a bit similar, but to help showcase women in hip hop. So Queen's Creation is basically kind of like a Under Pressure festival. So you have graffiti artists, you got dancers, you got MCs as well, but it's all women. It's here to showcase that hip hop is a safe space for women.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even though you hear all types of lyrics and all types of other opinions in the hip hop culture, I think that women do have a place in hip hop, and we need them. So I love the fact that she decided to organize. It's been a few editions now, and the last one was at the La Maison de la Culture de Côte des Neiges.
Okay.
So even the city wants to get involved in this. So it's I'm very appreciative to be a part of this.
Listen, any event coming up for them in the future, let me know. I'm definitely gonna be there.
Excellent.
That's something powerful. When I first heard of that concept, I'm like, okay, that's something that should be highlighted a lot more? I don't see it. Well, personally, probably because I wasn't necessarily in tune or focused specifically on that. But now that I get that information, I'm like, okay, that's what I want to hear more of. Like, that's important.
And also, you like you would think that there's a few women who raps, there's a few women who makes beat. The dancers and the graffiti artists, there's a ton of them.
Yeah. Montreal.
There's a ton
like,
of them.
Whoa,
There's so many creative women out there that we just don't know about, don't see really. So it's a great platform that Melissa built with the Queen's Creation.
Amazing. So out of all of the projects, Queen's Creation, End of the Week, you also did a cafe, hip hop cafe. Which one would you say is the closest to your heart that you're most proud of to date?
Can I answer something you did not mention?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. I was looking at the list. I'm like, wait, Ghetto Érudit aussi.
Oh, it's not even that.
Word of Battles.
My biggest project is me. It's not even one of those. It's
Love
me.
that answer.
The fact that I'm still alive, the fact that I still want to push, the fact that I still want to be a better version of myself is my biggest project.
Shit, I couldn't even figure that out if I
Now,
read like 20 things.
But,
I'm like,
but what you mentioned is great. Like what you mentioned is
that's
great.
good,
It's
man.
projects that they're deep to my heart, but it's just that these would have never existed if I would never took care of myself and I never pushed myself to the maximum of my capabilities.
That's deep. That's a good one, man. I like that. I love that answer. And what are you most proud of when you look at today's hip hop, specifically with the youth or the younger crowd that are involved? What do you see that captivates your mind? Like, okay, you know what? I think this is going to be good for the future.
I'm gonna say their hunger. I think that
Yeah, I do see that.
I
Definitely.
see a lot of older people complain sometimes about the younger generation, but in all honesty, a lot of these younger people are hungrier. And I think that this is not everything, but this is a great start. And on top of that, like we have, as I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of talent in both languages and a lot of disciplines in hip hop. So I mean, and all these young people are really taking this to the next level. And I think that they are going to give us options, possibilities that we did not see yet. Even though like there is some big groups from here that went to France that blew up outside in the States or elsewhere in the world. But I mean, I think as far as hip hop, I'm curious to see what this generation is gonna bring to us, because I think that a lot of opportunities are going to come out of their hungriness.
It makes me think of cities like I didn't even think would have shows popping that much. Sherbrooke, and you know, it's not only specifically geared on Montreal. Like you could tell that the whole region has been waking up and has been hungry. Or
I would argue that even over there they have shows with a wider audience than in here in Montreal.
You know,
Because that's like, oh, the rapper is my
real.
neighbor. So it's like he loses credibility because he's in your environment, as opposed to people in Sherbrooke or in Rouyn-Noranda or all these places. Trust me, when there's a rap show, they all go.
They're there. I'm telling you.
The whole city is there.
Yeah.
So, and if you look at, I don't know if you're familiar with Soulja, but that's a household name
Soulja.
on the French scene. And I mean,
Yeah.
this guy is a machine. Like he tours, I want to say that he does more than 100 shows a year.
God damn.
And he's been doing that for many years. And they're always sold out, or almost.
And
And
that's
I'm not
in
talking
the
about
region.
Montreal.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Chicoutimi. I'm talking about all these foreign places.
Yeah. Nah, there's a demand. There is a demand, absolutely, for real.
Like, but that's also one thing. Like, you need to know your market. So, if I bring you back to the manager portion of the ask, like, understand that Montreal is not everything. Like, you're better off having 10 fans in 10 cities than 100 fans in one place, because you can all grow all these different places and make the 10 becomes 1,000 and then become 100,000.
Focus on those small venues. Get the venues. Okay, let's do a show there. Even if it's 10 to 15 people, let's still do something and then move on to the next one. Yeah.
Don't have the ego. Like, ego is an unnecessary thing here. Like, don't be sad because there's 15 people, because you never know what Like one of the reason why I'm a part of Feaster Festival, I help them with all the vendors. I take care of, I pretty much manage all the floor with the vendors. Feaster Festival is a urban music festival in Laval.
Yes.
Is because I met the founder in an event that organized that had nobody in it.
Okay.
Like really, there was
Organically,
nobody, but the guy came in, he saw that the setup, he saw what I was trying to do, the vision, and he was like, yo, I need you on the team. And my man Nkosi, Nkosi Fana,
yeah.
so very close to him, and they know each other, and he wanted me to meet this guy for a long time, so it just happened that he came that day. So you never know.
True.
You never know.
Hey, man. There's a lot you're sharing right now that I hope people could start paying attention to, or even Google, YouTube, whatever you got to do your research. There's value, I'm telling you. Now, I want to move on to the segment called If I Had the Chance To. If I Had the Chance To is you sitting in front of your 16-year-old self and having a conversation, whether it's words of encouragement, anything you want to bring up. What would you tell that person?
Keep on grinding. Keep on grinding. Keep on staying true to who you are. I think that's what I would say, because if I go back to when I was 16, I would go through the same thing. Like all these situations made me something that I was not before it happened. So I mean, I think that's
really what it.
Stay true to yourself.
Before we end off with these last few questions, what's the craziest prank you've done as a kid?
Wow.
Like the prank you'd say, man, I really did this, and the person probably hated you for that, or
yo, I have no idea. Wow.
You weren't expecting that.
I was not expecting that one. Like a few, like I was never really like a prankster like that. I did a few, I don't know what's the name in English, but in French we say son de Chris.
Okay.
That's like you son and you de Chris. That's pretty much what it means. And then the people, they open and then they see you running, start running after you. That happened once. Don't do that. But nah, I was never really, I love to laugh.
Right.
Like I'm a big time, like absurd humor is really my lane. Like, but I've never been really a prankster.
Got it. Amazing. It's all good. It's all good. As long as you remember that joke or that prank, that's important. I was going to ask you the last question is specifically geared towards how do you see yourself in the next 3 to 5 years? And after that, I was going to say the last two. The last one is, how do you want to be remembered?
In 3 to 5 years, I see myself being a better version of myself again. I see myself having more success on a professional level, but also being happy. Honestly, that's what's important to me. Be happy, make sure that I do things that are good for me, make sure that I continue treating others with respect, and that's pretty much where I see myself.
Dope. That's it.
And then, what was the last?
How does Olivier Brault wants to be remembered?
Wow. Somebody who never gave up. Somebody who was authentic. Somebody who is respectful.
Dope. That's it, man. Hey, I'm happy for you. I'm happy for what you're. I'm happy to see the person you're becoming.
I appreciate it.
Listen, I've seen you move, do different things, and I could tell that you're authentically yourself when it comes down to this. And man, just keep on keeping on. Keep on being you. Keep being great, and appreciate you, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. There you have it. There you have it. Another episode of Elevate the Mic, where we elevate mindset and skill sets of individuals who are part of the hip hop community. Peace.
Holla, why do they doubt the kid? I'm about to prove them all wrong again. I got a low tolerance, cause they don't even know where the pride